Hello, everybody. Good morning. It is Angie Atkinson, and I'm here today with my co-coaches at Queenbeeing.com. I have Lise Colucci and, am I saying that right? And Colleen Brosnan. Angie Atkinson. Say hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. So, oh yeah, here I have myself talking. Hold on. Let me stop. Okay, that's better. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and just jump right in, everybody. My name is Angie Atkinson. On this channel, I offer free daily video coaching to help you discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. I like to call it toxic relationship rehab. So if that sounds good to you, hit the subscribe button and we'll just get going. All right. Good morning, Jillian, Butterfly Mama, X-Dude, Shantae. Hello. How are you guys feeling today? What's going on? Now is a really great time for you to start throwing your questions in the chat because we're only going to be here an hour, but we're going to answer as many questions as we can during that time. We're having a special Saturday edition of the live stream with these two coaches so you guys can get to know them a little better, hear what they have to say, and ask your questions while we're all here. All right, so let's get moving. We have No Narcs. Hello, No Narcs. Hello, Natasha Granville. She says, hello, you fabulous, strong ladies. Hey, girl, hey. We have X-Dude. He hopes we're all doing well. And Jillian is thrilled that we're all here. Wonderful, she says. And Dawn Elizabeth says hello to myself and Jillian. We have Jinky Rodriguez in the house who says, good morning. Good morning, Jinky. And Dawn Elizabeth here. Hello, Kat Cody. Good morning. Natasha Bell is here. She says, great. Oh, greetings. Greetings. What's up? And Christina Marcioni says hello, as does Dawn Elizabeth. Okay. Oh, Jillian likes the background. Well, thank you. It's that good old green screen I got going on, you know. And we have MH. Hey, MH. Welcome back. Long time no see. And Dawn Elizabeth saying hello to Christina. Lynn H. Town and MC Zo to get me says, hey, here we have our first question from X-Dude. Let's get it. So he says, I had a question. How do I overcome my grief of being a son of a weak, guilt-tripping father? His presence has always made me feel unmanly, especially in front of my peers. Are these feelings normal? That's a great question. I'll start here and tell you that you can't identify yourself as your parent, right? And you have to be able to separate your identity, even though they probably, in many cases, don't really want you to do that. Sounds to me like you may be dealing with a narcissist mother, maybe, and that's what maybe your father's codependent. But I'm interested in seeing what the ladies have to say. So let's start with you, Colleen. What do you think about this?
Well, I think you're totally entitled to your feelings. You have to feel those because they're yours and they're real. But you also have to kind of shut the narcissist voice off and kind of replace what's being said to you by the narcissist with your own voice and know your own truth, I think.
I absolutely agree. Lise, what do you think?
I'm thinking similarly that it's totally normal to have the voices of the people who took care of us and raised us in our heads, and to have that be how we see ourselves. But once we see that this isn't healthy or it's not what we want for our life, that we can learn to restate the voices that we hear. So if you hear a phrase repeated, write it down and restate it to a positive or to an affirming statement to help you grow out of that.
Totally agree. Absolutely. Yes. And we have, I'm sorry, did you guys have anything else to add to that before we move on?
No.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we have No Narcs asking, saying, I'm working on healing and feeling with toxic, I assume, healing and dealing with toxic people. How do you stay encouraged? It seems like the more I pull myself out, the more things the more things they try to do to pull me back in. So I think this is obviously we're dealing with somebody who's struggling with hoovering in their situation right now. But Lise, what do you think about that? Tell me your thoughts on it first.
Well, what happened when you were speaking is it did the volume thing where I couldn't hear what the question was. So
okay. Yeah. So No Narcs wants to know, says, I'm working on healing. I'm working on dealing with toxic people in my life. How do you stay encouraged? It seems like the more I pull myself out, the more they do to try to pull me back in. What would you say?
Well, if they're people you want to eliminate from your life, you get busy with new people and you get busy with new activities and basically don't have time for them. And if they're people that need to stay in your life, then you work on low contact. And I mean, there's a million ways to work on low contact, but I can't tell what they were saying. If they were saying they were people they wanted to have out.
I think they're dealing with hoovering is what I think.
Well, blocking them from any access to you. If someone talks about them to you, just politely say, I don't want to speak about that person right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good stuff. And Colleen, what would you add?
I would just add, surround yourself with supportive people. Maybe tag yourself with a no contact buddy who can keep you accountable to staying no contact, and just be around the people that make you feel good and validate you and keep you on the right track. You don't want to go back to that.
I agree. And I'll tell you something else that has helped me. I'll just add a little something onto this. Look, Lisa's gone. Anyway, I'll just add a little something onto this, and that is that, you know, I find it really helpful that this is a really good time for you to start to think about what your passion is and how you're going to grow forward. You know what I mean? So start thinking about how you can do something that kind of it's a great time for a project, right? So like if you've been wanting to remodel your house, start doing that. If you've been wanting to learn how to play the violin, perfect time to do it. You know what I'm saying? Something that distracts you from what they're doing to suck you back in. Any other thoughts on that, Colleen?
Nope.
Okay. So let us know if you have additional questions on that, my friend. Okay. Sarah Smith, good morning. Good morning, Mary. Long time. How have you been? Mary Can is here. No narcs. I got you. Jinky Rodriguez says, World Narcissistic Awareness Day is a huge success. Woo-hoo. Yes, it is a very big success. And we're always trying to increase awareness. So that's important. Dawn Elizabeth says hello to Sarah. Kit Kat says, feeling great, even though the narcissist introduced a new supply yesterday. Oh, the new supply with her. Oh, gosh. Kit Kat says, I can't control it, and I've done everything I can to protect my kids' mind and hearts, but I'm finally getting it. I can't control his actions. It's hard, right? That is a very difficult place to be. I think from my perspective, Kit Kat, you're doing the very best that you can to try to stay focused on what you can control. And I think that's really important in this situation. To fill Colleen and Lisa, and Kit Kat is one of my regular chat people, and we've watched her go from still being in the relationship to getting divorced, and now to having to meet the new supply with her, and her children having to meet the new supply. So she's done what she can to help get their heads ready for that. And now she's dealing with what happens now. So do you guys have any advice for her on how to deal with seeing the new supply, visibly, and how it must feel dealing with the new supply and the new children? Any thoughts on how she can be a little stronger and keep moving forward? Lisa, you want to start?
I suppose it depends on how she's feeling about it. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could feel,
right.
But self-care is what comes to mind. Like, go into the situation after doing something for yourself first, if you can, unless it's something sprung on you, and to be, and afterwards have a plan for self-care and care for your children, something special or something that is nurturing to you, or get out in nature, just do something for yourself after, and contrast that, because I don't know that it's comfortable ever for a while, or if ever.
Right. Yeah. And Colleen, you got any thoughts on that?
No, I was just going to say exactly what Lee said. Self-care, just breathe, and support your children the best that you can. And really, I don't know what else you could do. I mean, that's a really difficult, icky feeling situation, but.
For sure. And for your own, sorry, go ahead.
Love yourself.
For sure.
Your kids. Yeah.
Yeah. And for your own sake, you might want to think about not allowing your ex to see that it bothers you if it bothers you. Let me just throw that out there, because then, you don't want them to have any sort of manipulation tools in their new toolbox for you. You know what I mean? You've been doing a really good job with staying gray rock with him. So I say keep going. Congratulations on feeling great despite all of that. I think that's amazing. I think that shows your point in reality. Okay, let's see. Dawn Elizabeth says hello to you, Colleen. And Stargirl says, I'm here feeling good. What's up, Stargirl? Welcome back. And Denise Stoddard is here. Hello, Denise, and welcome. She says, I just exposed my ex-narcissist on all of his abusive behaviors. He went crazy and was screaming and cussing at me through text and phone calls. He was screaming at me so bad. That is a really tough situation, Denise. How are you managing? Let us know. I think usually it's exposing them sometimes might benefit the people around you, but very often they do so much damage in the wake of that it becomes almost not worth it. But I'm hoping that by what you're saying that you made some positive progress. Ladies, do you have any thoughts on this?
Going no contact if you can, and keeping it that way, and just taking care of yourself. You know what they're saying is garbage, so just ignore that and be prepared for the smear campaign, because if it hasn't already started, so and guard yourself against that. And basically, like, good for you for standing up, though.
Okay.
Really?
Yes. Good for you.
Hands
up. Okay, Lisa.
So I think at this point, really getting your gray rock skills under, like, get them as strong as you can, because once the smear campaign starts, the more you rebuttal against that, then the more it escalates. Mm-hmm. So it's to put in a lot of gray rock technique. And what can help when you keep hearing the words over and over in your head of the things they screamed at you is to identify what they were. That was projecting, that was gaslighting.
Yeah.
Them saying that their truth and they're blaming it on me, whatever the words were, or that's just them being a baby. It helps me to identify it in my own head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can totally see that. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. And we have Kit Kat says, I like that comment, entitled to your feelings. She says, I keep telling my kids that they can express them here, but not over there. It's a sharp contrast, but taking care of my side of the fence. Hey, that's all you can take care of. Unfortunately, I think you've done your best, the best thing you could do to prepare them. And honestly, your side of the fence is the only side you can worry about. As long as they're not being physically and extremely mentally abused when they're there, then in my opinion, that's the best thing you can possibly do. If they become, I know he was with you for a long time and he's not abusive to them for the most part. And I think that's positive. So with that being said, I think you're doing the very best thing you can. Lisa, do you have any thoughts about that?
About taking care of yourself only, or like
your side of the fence when it comes to the kids and letting them.
Anytime you're dealing with a narcissist, all you can do is take care of yourself. And
yeah.
I mean, really where the healing starts and mm-hmm. where strength starts to come back from having them take all your power is as you become more strong and more clear that your feelings matter and what you're feeling is real and you're experiencing it and you're entitled to your feelings, as Colleen said, then the more you begin to heal from it.
It's true. Absolutely. Colleen, thoughts?
Nothing more to add.
All right. And we have Kat Cody, who says, my narcissist has been hoovering me, but I blocked him. I had a premonition that he was calling me and found a message that he left me. He has cancer now. How do I say this? First of all, I'm sorry if he actually has cancer. And secondly, I'm not saying it's the case in this case, but I've seen narcissists pretend worse things even to get attention. So be careful. I would make sure that if that's the case and you choose to get involved at all, that you go to the doctor and hear it out of the doctor's mouth before you believe it, or something. I don't know. Thoughts, Lisa, Colleen?
That's a good point, to get it verified, because they do make things up. And
yeah.
also if he does, or she does, I'm not sure, if then we can feel sympathy for people and we can feel compassion for people, but we don't have to get right back to their life.
Right.
We can care for them from a distance and know they're toxic to us,
Mm-hmm.
and still keep away while sending well wishes for their health. It becomes tricky because we want to be there and support people, but they're not healthy people for us.
Right. So. Agreed. Colleen, any additional thoughts on that?
Well, while that's devastating news, if it is in fact true, you have to protect yourself, because some use that as a way to suck you in. And if it is true, some will use it as a way to use it to their advantage to manipulate and suck you back in. So you just need to really be protective of yourself and take care of yourself, and trust that, you know, this person has doctors and caregivers and other people surrounding them, that, you know, they're not going to be alone through it. And they're not, you know, think about the harm it would cause you in being supportive to them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Natasha Bell says, please discuss learned helplessness as it relates to survivors of narcissistic abuse. My mother's a narcissist. I've gone no contact, but I realize I'm underachieving in my life. And the thing that I would start out with on this is, I would say, I think it's common for the caregiver type of narcissist to sort of teach learned helplessness. And what I've seen in other situations, even with clients, is that type of caregiver narcissist will do all the laundry. They'll do all the cooking. They never teach the kids those things. And they almost encourage them to not step outside of the box, and to not even, you know, in some cases, not even to get jobs. They make it easy for them, but at the same time, they maintain a certain kind of control by doing that, because the person needs them. So what are your thoughts on that? Colleen, you want to start?
I think this is a really exciting opportunity for growth. You can, you know, start learning all of those things on your own. And I think it kind of falls under Angie's narcissistic fleas as well. We kind of pick up some of those things that were taught by narcissists. And I think this is really a great opportunity for you to start looking into yourself and finding out what you're really capable of. It's an awesome opportunity for that.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree. Absolutely. And that's a really good point. Lise, what do you think about it?
I think as well, I think that it's an opportunity, and it can be kind of exciting once you get past this feeling of stuck and I'm helpless and not knowing what to do about it. It'll get really exciting. So I would say find information or ways to look at what your joys are in life and where your bliss lies, and start journaling, start thinking about what it is you want for your life, and be open to the change that needs to come in order to be self-sufficient or whatever it is that you feel helpless.
Absolutely. Yeah. And on the same token, you know what, I don't think that I had learned helplessness per se, but I think that I had learned like lack of self-worth, and which is different but similar. And what I mean by is, it never occurred to me that I could move forward and choose my life, because I was told I fit inside this little insignificant box, so to speak. And so when I realized that, you know, if I just pushed a little harder, I could push out of that box and become the person I wanted to be. I mean, that made a huge difference in my whole world, my whole life. So that's what I would say. I would say, open your eyes and see what you can do to step outside of the box that someone built for you, if you dealing with your narcissistic parents. So, I echo what Lisa and Colleen both said. This is an opportunity for you. You can literally, at this moment, shed the many years of abuse slowly. It takes a minute. Shed all of those old ideas and choose what you want to be and what you want to believe and what you want to see in your life. And it actually you can literally choose. I think that's pretty cool. It happened to me when I was 35 years old. So yeah, underachieving is a temporary state. Change your mind and change your life. Yeah. Okay. Kat Cody says, I'm low contact with my sisters. They are narcissists and abusive. Yeah, I think that's low or no contact is important in both but in those cases. Sometimes it's hard to go no contact with one family member and not all the family members, and I get that. But if there's any way to reduce or eliminate it completely, I would say that. Let's move on to the next question though, because Butterfly Mama says, how do you help your kids to understand that your ex has a sickness and that the family system we had was not healthy? My kids go to his house every other weekend, so it's a constant battle. Colleen, I'll let you start on this one.
Well, the good news is it's only every other weekend. Secondly, just, letting them express themselves and talk about it and providing support as it goes, I guess. My children have a narcissistic parent, and so it was more or less just reassuring them it wasn't their fault, that they had done nothing wrong, and not excusing the behavior, but trying to explain it in the best way that I could with little ones. But aside from that, I mean, I think you're doing pretty much everything you can be.
Yeah, and you have to explain it on their age level, whatever age level that is. So if you're dealing with teenagers, you can almost tell them everything almost. If you're dealing with a 3-year-old, that's a whole other ball of wax, so you have to obviously consider the age appropriateness. Lise, thoughts on this?
One thing that I have said is your father's making a choice for his life. Your father is deciding to do these things. I don't blame a person for what they're doing, but I'm not going to cover up for what they're doing. So to say, or adults make their own choices in life.
Yeah.
And this doesn't have to do with you. This has to do with their choices in life. Or it's unfortunate they miss out on this, let's go do that, and you can't soften it, and you also can't hide from it, but it's tricky. It's hard.
Yeah.
I think what Colleen said in keeping the line of communication open and letting them know you're safe and you're there for them. I think not putting a lot of blame on the other person, not bad mouthing the narcissist, and not criticizing or the things we have to say, just saying them can help the child feel more able to talk to you, because I think they may feel sort of sometimes between the two parents. They don't understand it and they want the affection from the narcissist. And so if it becomes them against you, it can be more difficult maybe for them to know how to be open, and that it's okay to say what hurts, and it's okay also to say when they're happy. Yeah. And then to just sit and sort of bite your tongue and listen to it and say, yeah, okay, and as they get older, as Angie said, filling them in more and more on what narcissism is.
Yeah. And it's hard. One of the things that I'll add here is that first of all, when I was going through my divorce, actually after my divorce, my son, when we got divorced, was 16 months old. And so by the time he was 4, and in preschool, he asked me one night, Mom, why don't I have a dad? It was right before we met Bill, ironically enough. And he said, why don't I have a dad? And you guys, I was blown away by that question, because my ex-husband wasn't in our lives at that point. He chose to just wander off. So we ended up, I went to a therapist, and I'm like, what do I do? What do I say to this little perfect child of mine? I mean, in my mind, the perfect little baby face. What do I say to this boy? How do I explain to him without crushing him completely, And the therapist actually told me that I should say to this child, your father has the right to see you and he chooses not to, basically, but in kid language. And I thought that was wrong. But he explained to me that it was important for me to say the truth as much as he could understand at that age, which was basically the message I just expressed to you. Because if I didn't do that, then he may resent me, who was his only parent. And he shouldn't resent me for being the one that was still with him. And I thought about that, and I there's a certain amount of logic to it. So I did it, and it was horrible, and I cried and he cried. We laid, we were laying in my bed nose to nose while I told him. He was a little 4-year-old. But it was healthy for us to go through that together, and it bonded us in a different kind of way. So I think that's what I would recommend. I would echo what they said, and I would recommend again to just within reason for their age, tell them the truth as much as you can. Yvette Perez says, I'm new to your channel. Welcome to this family. Says, it's very hard for me to ignore the narcissist, especially when he's so persistent. I've been in a relationship almost 10 years. I would like some information regarding an arc on drugs. Okay, these are two separate but related issues. So regarding the being hard to ignore the narcissist when they're so persistent, I get it, trust me. But like Lise said earlier, you got to use that block button, baby. So I'm not gonna go into too much detail because I want to give both of the ladies an opportunity to talk on this as well. But the other side of that coin is that narcissists and drugs very often go together, unfortunately. Now, sometimes you have people who are supplies, narcissistic supplies like ourselves we have all been before, also on drugs. Sometimes because the narcissist encourages them to do it, other times because it helps them numb out from the crazy world they live in. And let's be honest, empaths in general, when we're broken, we can find ourselves also addicted to various things. With that being said, when we're talking about a narcissist, almost everybody who's in active addiction, significantly into active addiction, will be a little narcissistic, as in they will not show empathy and they will do whatever they have to do to get that drug or that fix, whatever that is. What we see is that when someone comes out of addiction and they're in recovery, that's when the truth comes out, I think, in most of those cases, because sometimes we'll see that person go, oh my God, I can't believe I treated you that way. I'm so sorry. And they'll mean it. And then sometimes we'll have somebody who just starts living on the fact that now I'm in recovery and this is how it's going to be. And everybody has to bow down and do what I need because it's all about me still, because they were always a narcissist. So there's that fact, which is related but unrelated. But I'd like to know, well, anyway, Colleen, I can't remember Colleen, what are your thoughts on this? Sorry if I'm not alternating.
I'm kind of in the same situation with my kid's dad. I mean, now that they're grown up, they've made the choice to not be involved and they've chosen to go no contact on their own. But I still get these ridiculous Happy Mother's Day and you won't give me the chance to, appreciate and tell you, because I just continue to ignore and, block. Of course, they always create new profiles and stuff to get in however they can. But just, protect yourself. You're moved on, you're with somebody else, and who needs to look back? Just keep moving forward, enjoying your life, and delete and block as you go. And totally. I mean, they're never going to give up, but until there's another supply, and even then, sometimes they don't. But move on, keep moving on.
I totally agree with you. And you know about that, don't you? You've had some experience with should we not? Never mind. Okay. We're moving on.
Oh, yes.
Yes, indeed. Okay, Lise, your turn. What do you think about all that? Can she hear me? Oh, there she is.
Well, I think it's all been said pretty much. It really is the only way for the persistency and those that just won't stop. They don't. There's no other way. Be as boring as you can when you have to deal with them, and don't ask any questions. Don't offer any information.
Explain for those who don't know, why do we want to be boring? Explain that to them so they know. Go ahead.
Boring. We want to be boring so that we aren't feeding them supply. And we're also not attracting more. It's like a ping pong game, if you toss the ball toward them, they're going to toss it right back, and it gets faster and faster and faster as you hit back and forth, and then you're lost in the exchange. And that's what they want, the supply, and they want the attention. So if you're boring, you're way less interesting than someone else they could be getting attention from.
Right. And by boring, you mean like don't react in the way that you normally react to their behavior. Yeah.
So just, if they're saying, hey, what's going on? You just say, I don't have time right now.
Yeah.
or it's fine, I'm cool, it's all good, nothing, not really interesting, just
no drama.
No drama. Kind of as if you're talking to a stranger who's pushing their boundaries on you.
Yeah.
Why would you answer that question of someone that walked down the street? You wouldn't. They are a stranger now, and they are no longer in your life.
Exactly.
So no need for niceties or engaging.
Right. Totally agree. And on that same token, if normally when the narcissist would attack you, you would cry, don't cry. Just like she said, gray rock, just like this, watch. No expression.
Hard to do.
Hard to do.
No emotion.
Okay, everybody, let's do our gray rock faces. Ready? Okay, that was fun. Okay. All right, moving right along. Natasha says, can you please tell me what flying monkeys are? Let's let Lee start this one off. Go ahead.
Flying monkeys, they are people that are in the narcissist's life who swoop into yours and gather information for the narcissist about you. Or they start pelting you with information about the narcissist. So they might say, oh, Bobby the other day, he looked really great, or he looked really bad, or they start talking about him in a way that tries to engage you. And then generally they take that information back to the narcissist. And they're also, it can be an innocent thing too, where maybe it's a family member or a close friend that was friends with both of you that doesn't understand this person is toxic. Yeah. And they will come in and honestly be trying to just fill you in on information, see how you're doing, and they'll take the information back to the narcissist and kind of innocently become a flying monkey.
Yeah. Anything to add to that, Colleen?
Oh, just everything Lee said. It's not always intentional. Yep. I've had people in my own family tell me about I saw them in the grocery store, and I'm just like, they didn't look that great. It's like, right. Not my circus, not my monkey,
Exactly.
Flying or otherwise. No, thank you.
Yeah, that is such an important thing. It's a good mantra. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Yes. Excuse me. Yes. And on a related note, Dawn asks, what are the difference between flying monkeys and enablers? And I would just say that they're pretty similar. The only difference being that flying monkeys will go above and beyond the call of enabling duty by trying to do the narcissist bidding with other people. So, for example, I'll use an example from our chat here. Stop the Chaos, who is in here today under a different screen name, her ex, his mother kept calling her for a while and kept trying to kind of suss out what was going on and find out what the heck was wrong with her leaving that perfect boy and all that, So that's what I would say the difference is. But what do you ladies, anything to add to that?
No, I have nothing to add to that. That's
all right. Lisa, anything?
I've had the same thing.
No, I think I kind of tried to begin with. I think that's kind of what I was describing, is that flying monkeys they're into the drama. Some of them can be narcissists themselves, or other toxic people, or just people who really love gossip drama. Mm-hmm. And they like to get in the middle of things, and they like to have their fingers in everything that's juicy. So, and then people who enable are oftentimes kind of innocently, in a sense, they don't understand what they're doing half the time, and they're just trying to protect both of you, or make things better, or they're enabling the narcissist. But so I think that's kind of part of it.
Yeah, right on. Okay. Robin Ross, hello. Angela Falsetta, hey girl, hey, how you doing? She says, they will always come up with something to get us. Only my daughter is in my life. They're using her to get to me. Any damage done? I've been studying suing for emotional distress. Yeah, they definitely will use literally anyone that is near them, whether it's your daughter or it's like your neighbor or your mom even, or your dad. They don't care. They'll go deep. I've seen narcissists use people's best friends to get to them. Ladies, any thoughts on this?
Well, I had somebody use a pet. For me, it was using a pet,
Yeah.
That's all I can add.
Yeah.
I had a narcissist actually use a pet. So
there's no level to which they will not sink. What about you, Lisa? Anything to add to that?
No, I think it's using other people, the triangulation. You know, it's one of the techniques that they use. It's one of their tactics, rather. And also they'll use other things like money, jobs. I mean, they'll use anything to get to you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Dawn Elizabeth can relate. She said both of her parents were narcissists, including her middle siblings. Cindy Crawford says, how exactly do you get the thoughts from the past out of your mind? She says, just the hurtful, angry thoughts. It's been 2 years out and I'm still struggling to move forward. I will say, to start off with, that when you're 2 years out, it's time to start letting go of that anger. And I've said this before, Cindy, I don't know if you've done it yet, but write a letter to that person while you're writing it, with every intention of sending it, and say all of the things that you need to say to that person that you couldn't otherwise say. You sort of get your closure that way. That's part of the thing. I think that's a problem with the anger out when you're 2 years out, is that you don't have any closure. And once you are able to release the anger, then you can move on and do some other things. But I want to let the other two coaches here touch on their thoughts on releasing anger once it's safe for you to do so. So who wants to start here? Raise your hand.
So,
Go ahead.
That's a great one, because it's another place where you have this enormous opportunity in your life, because you have all these feelings and they're valid and they're real and you're holding them. And at a certain point, and I don't mean this to be shaming, blaming, or anything like that, but at a certain point, we keep recreating the trauma ourselves. We keep recreating, and it sounds like you're hearing that based on your question. So what I would suggest is writing down the repeated thoughts. I mean, I think that really understanding what it is you are telling yourself can be important, and then restating them. And by restating them, I personally don't think you have to go straight to "I am wonderful, all is well." I mean, really realistically restate them in a way that feels not limiting, so that you aren't hitting that same wall over and over again. I'm not coming up with a good example right now. Angie, what's a good negative self-thought when someone's angry?
Okay, so you might be thinking something like, I'm so angry at this person who ruined my life. And then you have to stop, right? And go, wait a minute, let me look around me. Let me see what I have here. I have a place to put my head at night. I have some food to eat. I'm still surviving. I even have a phone and a TV, and things are great. My point is, think of things you're grateful for in those moments instead of the things that suck. I'll let you continue, Lisa. Go ahead.
That's exactly it. No, that was what I was thinking. And then sometimes we can't even go there, though. And it's just, I am angry. This person ruined my life. And then saying, I am angry. I have a right to my life. I am angry. I'm going to change my life.
Use the anger to propel you forward when you can.
And shifting the ending, shifting the part where you're stuck.
Yeah. And when you own feelings like they ruined my life, then what you're owning is a ruined life, not they did it. So maybe if it helps you to transition, you say, I'm in full control of my life.
Right.
Start there, and then move toward, I choose happy. I choose this, that, or the other. But start with, it's okay. You should acknowledge your anger. You shouldn't just pretend it's not there. You should work through it, but you should also start to change your perception of your life. What is a ruined life really? I mean, it's maybe it's not what you thought it was going to be, but now you can change it to what you want. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop. Colleen, you go. Thoughts on this?
What you guys are saying, replace the negative thoughts with positive ones. Think about the things you're angry about, the things that you were no longer allowed to do, and things they took from you, and go get them back. Like, it's okay to be angry about it, but you can let go of the anger by taking your power back and doing the things that they took from you. seeing the people they banned you from, you know. And for me, I kind of saw it as a little bit of I was being a little deviant by stepping out of the narcs rules, you know, and it was fun. You know, it was fun. I felt like a child reclaiming my life, you know.
I remember that feeling.
Yes, and it can also be exciting, and it will help you grow. Like it's a good opportunity to take your life back.
Yes. And a quote that has been really, really powerful for me, and I've told you guys this a bazillion times, I'll tell you one more time, it's from Frankenstein, don't judge. But the quote is, "I'm fearless, therefore I am powerful." And if you think about that, being fearless doesn't really always mean you have no fear in the real world. Sometimes it means that you do it afraid, whatever it is. And sometimes I think anger, especially 2 years out, may be obviously connected to old anger that you haven't been allowed to release yet, but it's also sometimes connected to fear and being afraid of what's next and being angry that you have to be afraid of what's next. And so, like the ladies have said, see it as an opportunity, not as a sentence. See it as a chance to change everything and take your life from, oh my gosh, I don't even want to wake up in the morning, and why do I have to deal with this crazy person that's mean to me all the time, to I get to choose who's in my space and using my energy, who shares my energy with me, you know. And I like to joke around and say, like, there's no negative stuff inside of my little bubble here, you know. And I don't pay attention to negative things, and they don't stay long when they do pass through. So anything else to add to that, ladies?
I think that once you get this piece, once you start moving through this anger and you know, realizing that you need to let it go is a huge piece of it. But once you start finding your way, it gets really fun. And like Angie said, you start to not allow the negativity to stay long. It starts to just not stick anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you're not, I have a really good, horrible, anyway, here it goes. So, you know, it needs poop to grow in. Don't give it fertilizer. So keep the Venus out. There's something there, right? You know where I'm going with that. Okay. Colleen, any extra thoughts on that?
Nope, that covers it.
Okay. You know, just don't
grow it in my poop.
Poop to grow the bad stuff is my joke. I know there's something in there. I know there is. Okay, we're moving on.
Growing out of the poop, maybe.
I don't have to think about that to get back to you on the comparison. Sorry, guys. I'm having one of those days. Okay, let's move on. Jillian says, Christina, I'm so glad you're here. Stay tuned and subscribe to Angie's channel. You will definitely receive clarity and learn recovery with her duo method of discovering, understanding, and overcoming. Jillian, I love you. Thank you. Jillian is one of our awesome Mod Squad people, and she's been with me a long time. All right. And we have Lynn H. Town in the house from The Wizard of Oz. Oh, she's got flying monkeys from The Wizard of Oz. Yes, that is where the term came from, because in the movie The Wizard of Oz, of course, the witch's flying monkeys went out and did all of her bidding. And so that is definitely, we didn't make that term up. That's where it came from, for sure. But I think that's a really great comparison. So Mary Can says, I'm so happy to have seen this. I haven't been around in a while, but there is no we, just celebrated our 17th wedding anniversary. And now I cannot see myself with him another 17 years. Girl, you already said it. She said, so now I have to start figuring out, where was it? Here it goes. How to get out of this. He is not going to change, and I'm a fool for thinking he will. No, you're not a fool. You're just like every other person in this room. We all thought that one time, that somebody would change. Narcissists, as we know, unfortunately, they don't change. I mean, every now and then, maybe someone in the world has managed to change a narcissist, but I've never heard of it or seen it in person, and nor have lots of other experts I've spoken with about this. But with that being said, I think you said it, you have to start figuring out how to get out of it. I'll give you this tip, and then I'm going to head to the ladies for their thoughts, because it's always good to get other people's thoughts, right? So number one, go to queenbeeing.com/plan, and download that stuff. I have free downloads there. You don't even have to give me your email address. Just click the button and they're yours. There's a workbook, and there's like an informational guide There's lots of resources listed in them, and you can also actually literally work out your own escape plan. So check those out, queenbeeing.com/plan, PLAN. Lise, thoughts on this?
If you are, so you know you want to get out, and you don't know when it's going to happen. You just know that 17 more years is not in your future. Begin your self-care journey now. Start working on yourself. Start getting a life outside of the narcissist. Start finding things you love, getting involved with other people. I don't mean romantically, I mean getting involved with volunteering or taking classes or anything that gives you a life outside of the bubble that the narcissist creates around you, or the prison rather that they create. And that will give you support, and it'll give you focus and intention outside of this chaotic world. And it will help you as you do Angie's plan that she mentioned, and as you go through the part that starts to hurt. Like right now you might know, and then there's the doubt that comes in, and will he change? It goes back and forth when you have a contrast with something lovely in your life and focus and intention that is positive. It can really make a difference.
Absolutely. Yes. Thoughts, Colleen?
Well, first of all, good for you, knowing your worth and taking it back. And just gain as much support as you can. We have a couple of support groups going on that, they're span. But what's the other one? Is it Mighty Networks, Angie?
MySpanily.com, if you go to that.
Okay, there it is. Yeah. And just surround yourself with people who understand, because the feelings do come in waves, and there will be some doubts, and just for validation and to keep yourself on track, because ultimately deep down, this is what you want. So just, getting into some support groups and being able to speak to other survivors to keep your mind where you want to be,
Yes. And I need to pause and say this really quick. Oh, one more thing. Before you leave, write down all the reasons you're leaving and save that somewhere that you won't lose it, so that when he tries to hoover you back in, which he will, and you have had enough time away that you start to forget those things that suck, you'll pull out that paper and remind yourself. Okay, I'm going to say that. Let me say this before it goes away. Sunny Hawkins, thank you for the $5 super chat. She says, I'm so thankful for you guys and my kids. They are my motivation. Nothing feels better than my kids telling me how proud they are of me. I love that so much, Sunny. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I just want to cry right now just because I'm
me too. It's like
it's really amazing. Yes, thank you so much. Yes. Okay, one more. Dawn Elizabeth, $10. Thank you so much for the super chat, Dawn Elizabeth. Hit us up with a question if you have it. Ladies, remind me to check for Dawn Elizabeth's question before we leave. Okay. We have Ron Nelson saying, father narcissist, wife narcissist, it wears. Honey, I feel you. We all have been, how many of us can say we have found ourselves at one point or another looking around going, oh my God, I'm surrounded by them. I bet everybody, I bet everybody's gone through recovery.
It's like a narcopolis.
Yeah. And that's because when you don't know what to stay away from, you miss the signs. Like I did a video the other day, forgive yourself for what you didn't know when you didn't know, You can only know as much as you can know. Thoughts, ladies, on that? Anything?
Nope, not for me.
Lise?
It's pretty common. That's a common experience, and it's no less fun for you. But it's you're not alone there. And I think what happens is we start seeing it, and the more we learn and the more we see, the more we actually open our eyes and see what is around you. And like Angie said, we are surrounded.
Oh yeah, narcissists.
Maybe not, but some people, toxic people, those people who use you, and so it's again finding new people, finding new ways to be in the world.
Yeah, yeah, and they're attracted to us because they notice that we react quickly to their extreme emotions initially, and of course, when we have a parent who's a narcissist or someone else in our life who's a narcissist, we recognize very early that we must react quickly to their extreme emotions, right? And so when we move on and we find somebody that we think we love and who we think loves us, and that person has extreme emotions, what are we going to do? Well, we care about them. We love them. So what are we going to do? We're going to jump when they have an extreme emotion. And then they go, oh, yeah, that's a good one. Let me get my hooks in there. You see?
Yeah, they also have, we also have tolerance. We have a really high tolerance for abuse, and we have a high tolerance for the little things they do before they start abusing. So
Yes.
we miss a lot of red flags because our tolerance is so high so it's learning what a red flag is, and that is not acceptable.
Knowledge is power.
It'll be worse later on, and it's not acceptable now. And it just takes learning what they are, and not so much trusting your tolerance, but trusting your intuition on it.
Absolutely true. Yes. We have Pineapple Angel saying, after going no contact, my narc ex has just moved on ASAP after 4 years. So many lies. Was anything real? Did he have any real feelings, or was it all just his needs? Pineapple Angel, the first thing I want to say to you is that I wish I could say to you, yeah, those feelings were real. I can say this. In the moment expressed, the narcissist believed what they said initially during the love bombing. They believed that you were their soulmate and that you were the person they always tried to find. But because they have this inability to see someone as flawed and lovable at the same time, as soon the very moment they started to devalue you, all of that went out the window. And so you can't, it's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you, but the narcissist is incapable of what we would consider real feelings, see, because they don't have empathy. They don't care how you feel. And that takes away their ability to really love you, in my opinion. But I'd love to hear what the ladies have to say. Colleen, you want to go first this time?
They also have the mental maturity of a young child too. So
emotional for sure. Yeah.
We have empathy. When, you know, crap hits the fan, we look to our partner to work through it, where a narcissist doesn't need to put up with the crap. They can just move on. And they don't care how they leave us. So, you know, be good to yourself. I know it's hard. I know it's really hard. But there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do about how they handle the way they handle things. You can only, going forward, handle how you respond, not react to whatever crap they do.
Right. Yeah. Lee's thoughts?
I think what you had said also about that they believe it in the moment, in the beginning at least, that I believe that as well. I also think some of them believe it every time they love bomb again, or if they give you the intermittent love bombing, they believe it in that. And I think what they're looking for is, when they devalue, is you to be the person that you were before. And you're thinking to yourself, I am exactly the same person that I was yesterday. Why are they doing this to me? It's their perception of it.
Yeah.
It's their perception of I don't even know what. It's not us. It's their perception of everyone. Right. And they use the primary supply as the main dumping ground for their dissatisfaction of themselves.
Right.
So when they're in those states, I think they actually do stop caring, and so is it real? It's really hard to say, because in some moments it is, and in some moments it's not.
Yeah. And I think sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to add that I think the theory of object constancy really fits in here, because Freud, and I can't remember all the year details and things like that, but he came out with this theory because he had this teddy bear. And anyway, long story, I'll tell you about it another day. But what it comes down to is if they cannot see, that's what I was kind of mentioning, they cannot see you being wrong and lovable at the same time. That it's not possible for them. And so here's an example of what I'm talking about. For example, if when they met you, every time they saw you, you had your hair did and your makeup good and your nails all on fleek or whatever, then you get exhausted and overwhelmed, and you get tired and you get burnt out because they're so freaking abusive, and you just feel tired all the time. And you're like, why should I bother? They don't even notice I do it anyway. So you start walking around wearing old sweats and t-shirts, no bra, your hair on top of your head, or whatever the male version of that is, unshaven and whatever. And then you end up, close that door, please, and get out. It's not in here. Sorry. My family's just walking in my office like it's nothing. Oh, apparently I do have the broom in my office. Anyway, what happens though is that then they start to criticize you. Well, as Lisa was saying, you used to be this person and now you're that person. and they don't like that. You used to be somebody who got dressed, did her hair every day, or shaved their face every day, or whatever it is that that person is complaining about. And now look at you, you're disgusting, you're this and you're that. You're not disgusting, you're not this and that, but from their perception, when they first met you, you were always looking perfect in their mind. And then you had a baby, and you got abused for 10 years, and now you're like maybe a little less perfect. And so that's not about you or them. It's about them. It's not about you. It's about their perception, like Lisa said. I don't know. I was trying to provide an example. Let's move on. I hope that's helpful. Do you have anything else to add to that, ladies?
No, that was it.
Okay. Sorry about that. Monique Harden, hello and welcome. She says, I'm good. Happy to be here. Happy to see everybody. I'm a little disappointed with myself today, though. My narcissist was playing on, interesting. My narcissist was playing on my phone last night, and I found myself actually gaslighting him. This is very interesting. Does she have anything else to say about that? Let me see. I don't see anything. Okay, ladies, I'm going to let you take it. What do you think about the gaslighting of a narcissist?
That depends on what I'm trying to picture the scenario.
So she was messing with his head while he was, I think she means texting him on her phone.
She was messing with his head.
She was giving his own medicine back to him. It's
hard not to. It's hard not to, especially when the opportunity is so ripe. I'm curious what the results of that were and how that played out.
I would love to hear that as well. Let us know in the chat. Colleen, anything you want to add to that?
No, I'd just like to find out what went on.
Yeah. Tell us the story, girl. Tell us the story. Okay. I can tell you that I made a video. It's one of my most hated videos a long time ago about top 10 ways to torture a narcissist. And a lot of people were really mad when I made that video. And it wasn't really about actually torturing a narcissist. It was about kind of defining the behaviors that they do to us. And it was basically like, if you act this way, they won't like it, because that's exactly how they would act. But people didn't get it. So, but it got a lot of hate. So that was fun.
I loved it, actually. And you also incorporated, karma, and to be careful when doing it. So you also gave some advice and recommended not to, but,
Yeah. And it was a little tongue in cheek, but it was totally legit in my opinion, the way that it was, but I did. You're
depending
right.
on what stage of healing you're at.
Yes.
Sometimes that's where you go,
And I think more people liked it than didn't like it, but the people who didn't like it really didn't like it.
I love it.
Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. Pam Hall, thank you for the $5. She says, love you guys. I wish I could give more. May this multiply exponentially. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And we have our friend James F. James, you have been a supporter for a long time now, and you've recently started really helping. James has donated several memberships for the Svanily home, which I am grateful for. And right now he just gave us a $10 super chat. He says, Angie, what you do is amazing. You took something terrible and turned it into something awesome. To all of you struggling, if Angie can do it, and if I can do it, so can you. And he is so right. The women on the screen, James over here, a lot of people here in chat have done it. You guys, we are just like you. We are basically you on YouTube. So, if we can do it, you can do it. Thoughts on that, ladies?
Truth.
Thank you, James.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Now, where was I? Monique. Okay. Sherry Burt says, how do you get them out of your mind for good? I will say this, and then I'm going to have the ladies jump in because I know they've got some great tips on this. I'll say this. You have to start by you have to intend to do so. You have to take control of your thoughts. You can do like a 2-week thought cleanse if you want, where every time you think about them, you stop yourself and you go, no, I'm not going to think about that person. I'm just going to go ahead and think about this other thing instead. And you can come up with a good affirmation that doesn't suck like that. Another thing I like to say is, if you imagine they're sitting in a chair in the back of your head and then talking to you, making you feel crazy. Imagine you climb a little ladder up the back of your head and all of a sudden the chair has wheels on it. And then you just push them right out your nose and then blow your nose and imagine they're out of your head. It's a little funny thing, but it's a pattern interrupt is what it is. And that's what it's going to take. I think it's pattern interrupt, but I'm going to stop talking and let the ladies talk. Who wants to go first?
Either way.
Go ahead.
I think that's right. The pattern interrupt is a huge one. Again, getting focused on self, and I sound selfish, but really it's not. It's self-aware and self-care leading out of this trap that's in your head. So finding things you like, finding ways to help others, finding other people to surround yourself with who are healthy and kind, having a high standard for kindness and expecting from others. And then when they don't, and they disappoint you, because people will, you just walk away. Yeah. And again, with the pattern interrupt, that, I like to, if I can't stop thinking about something for 10 minutes, but have a plan of what I'm going to do in those 10 minutes and do the thing. Maybe if I can't think of anything, it's cleaning, and I'll go clean something for 10 minutes. And I'm not allowed in those 10 minutes to think of the thing that is looping in my head. And it will come, it'll still be there, but you just say, no, I'm cleaning now. I'm cleaning now. I'm scrubbing this floor. And when the timer goes off, you let yourself think about it again. But it seems to kind of lighten the grasp it has.
Yes. And I think another thing, and I should just stop, but I'm just going to do it anyway. Here it goes. I'm sorry, Colleen. I can't help it sometimes.
You go, girl.
I think another thing to think about is, what Lee said, give yourself minutes, even if you have to not think about it, but also even before you get there, at some point you need to process that stuff, and you didn't do it during the relationship because you weren't allowed to. You need to process those emotions. If you were like me, you learned how to not process your emotions real fast, and you learned how to not even pretend. Like, you would shove them down so hard they would be like in your toes, under your feet, and eventually you have to let it come out. And so you have to feel them and release them and work through them, then start pushing that person out of your head. I like to set an end date on it. I like to say, if let's say you're a year out, I would say give yourself no more than a month at the very most. Let's say you just broke up yesterday. I still wouldn't give yourself more than a month, because why waste your time? A month is a long time. And I think also my point is, you set an end date. You go, okay, so if today is June the 2nd, on July the 2nd, I'm done. I'm not going to cry anymore. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be totally healed on that day, but that's the day you're officially going to stand up and start over. That's the day you're going to officially stop allowing yourself, as Lee said, to have those negative thoughts, and start stopping those thoughts. Colleen, thoughts? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. Just putting your focus on other things. I like to color or do word puzzles. Volunteering in your community is a really nice way of helping other people. It's a gift for them, but it's a gift for you too, knowing that you're doing good for other people. Yes. And it takes the focus off yourself for others. You have a dirty closet that's full of hockey sticks and clothes and last year's whatever, go clean that out. Just whatever, once you've dealt with it, whatever's going to, help your thoughts move forward into putting your focus somewhere positive.
Yeah. She's a Canadian.
Yes, I am.
I love her.
We focus on positivity over here.
You gotta love that woman. I love both of these women. What am I talking about? Okay, moving right along. All right. So that was a very good point. Thank you so much. And I think all of these are good points. This is why it's so helpful to have, more than one of us on this. Sometimes, we can kind of really give a well-rounded opinion. Okay. Daniela. Hello, Daniela. We're going to answer 2 or 3 more questions, you guys, and then we're going to get ready to wrap up because we're a little over time. I just noticed. But we're having such a good time with you guys. We would love to stay all day, but unfortunately, our families were like, would you please spend some time with us on Saturday? So we're going to have to do that too. I assume. That's what my family's like, sticking their head in here already. My husband's birthday party tonight. Okay, moving on.
Happy birthday, Bill.
I'll let him know. All right, let's see here. So Daniela says, hello, my narcissist called me yesterday to tell me she got kicked out of her new girlfriend's home. And I told her to leave, because it's abuse, but it's hard for me because I'm doing well on the last step of divorce. Colleen?
Okay, can you just, one more time?
Yes, 1 second. Okay. A little something. Okay. Daniela says, my narcissist called me yesterday to tell me that she got kicked out of her new girlfriend's home. And I told her she should leave because it's abuse. But it's hard for me because I'm doing well on the last step of divorce.
Yeah, that is hard. Sometimes, now that I'm in a different place of healing, sometimes it's very triggering to have somebody who's stuck in the middle of it when you've come so far. So you're going to have to just set boundaries for yourself, I think, you know, be as supportive as you can when you're able to do so. And when it gets to feel like it's too much, take a step back.
Now we're talking about her narcissist.
Oh, her narcissist. Her narcissist is in a relationship and not happy?
That is what she's saying. Her narcissist called her to say she got kicked out of the new girlfriend's home.
Oh,
and
well, that's the narcissist problem.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Right. Right. That's a hoovering maneuver, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So protect yourself. Don't offer any support there. Just support yourself. Yeah.
Agreed.
Stay away from it.
Totally. Lee's thoughts?
Yeah, my first thought was that's a hoover. It's a hoover playing on your sympathy and playing on knowing you're empathic, and you're going to give them love and care and affection and kind words that they want, which everybody wants in that situation, but they want it in a different way.
Right.
And it's to suck you back in.
Yep. And as Colleen would say, go ahead and tell them about the monkeys.
Not my circus, not my monkeys.
Exactly.
Right along.
That's right. Not your problem. That's exactly right. Yes. All right. We're going to.
I'm sorry. I think understanding that that is what they're doing, and you can still feel like you're doing well, and you feel great about your life, and you feel bad because theirs isn't going so well. It's okay to feel those things. Yeah. You just don't need to share those feelings with that person. You can feel them, take a deep breath, and move on.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Okay. So we're going to do 2 more questions and then we're leaving. But before that, I'm going to tell you guys how you can get a one-time free 10-minute conversation with one of these 2 ladies. All right. So let's talk about it. First, Kit Kat says, I'm moving forward. All right. I know we are better off and she can have him. Kit Kat is the one with the new supply of the children, and her ex has the new supply. She's the one I was telling you about. She says, now that I'm finding my authentic self, I will never take him back. He will never take that back. Kit Kat, I'm so, so proud of you. I would reach through this lens and kiss you if I could. I'm not even kidding. I'm really proud of you for that. I think it's amazing. And I think we've seen her go from, like I said, in the relationship still and almost not weak, but broken, to this amazing goddess type person. And I'm just so proud of you. So big hugs and love to you, my friend. Thoughts on that, ladies?
Just keep going. You're doing great. Good for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Inspirational. Yes. Okay. And Daniela, good for you for the 6 months snark free. Don't fall for it. It's a trick, like we said. Okay. Yvette says, I've been no contact 2 weeks. She says, everything under the sun from A to Z has been done to me times 1,000, and I'm still in it somehow. What is wrong with me? Okay. 2 weeks is so early.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you is that you are trauma bonded and you are addicted to that person. So the first thing I would tell you is go watch my videos on trauma bonding after this is over, and also on addiction to a person. But I know Lisa is really well versed in this, and I think Colleen as well. So ladies, thoughts on this? Lisa, you want to start?
Well, I always send people first year videos on it because it explains it and sums it up, and not just sums it up, it gives detail really well. But trauma bonding is, first of all, it can happen to anyone, anywhere. And it is, what do you say? It takes time to get to heal from it. And you have to be patient with yourself and not think something's wrong with you. Just understand the experience that you're having is real, and that it's not only an emotional addiction or an emotional bond, but it's a chemical, it's a biochemical, and our brain chemistry becomes addicted to the narcissist and to the intermittent reinforcement that the love bombing bits or the crumbs or the morsels of affection that they give in between the devaluing and abuse.
Yeah.
So it actually like surges chemical like dopamine in your brain, and it's a whole complex thing that happens. So we have to break that addiction, and it's not comfortable. It's not a comfortable time. So a lot of support and a lot of self-care is really helpful.
Yeah. Absolutely. And as Natasha said, change your phone number if you need to make sure that he doesn't. Okay, go ahead. Colleen, thoughts?
And just staying no contact. I know it's really hard in the early stages, but I promise you, as time goes on, it will get a little bit easier day by day. And then you'll look back 9 months and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been 9 months. So just stick with it.
Just like any addiction, I think, it gets a little easier to stay away from as you go forward. And please note that it does affect the same part of your brain as drug addiction, cocaine, alcohol, even. I mean, the same part. Okay. All right. You guys have so many amazing questions here, and I'm so thrilled that you were here with us. I know that we're not able to get to everything today, but a lot of these things that you're asking, like the smear campaign question, things like this, I have videos on them. So definitely take a look at those. Now, let me just really quickly, before I do this, because I didn't tell them I was going to do this, but ladies, are you fine with this 10-minute thing I'm going to talk about?
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm talking about? The 10-minute thing? Okay. Making sure. Okay, here we go. So both of these ladies currently, for a short time, have available a 10-minute session where you can schedule with them for 10 minutes and have a discussion about what coaching would look like. You maybe ask one question if you want a detailed answer, but they'll kind of go over with you what it would look like to go through coaching with them. And they are only 10-minute calls, and they are one per person, but they are free. So if you want to schedule with Lise, go to queenbeeing.com/Lise, Lise. She is the lady with the hair down over here. Lise, wave at them. Oh, her name's on the screen. Okay. I want to make sure we knew what we were talking about. Okay. And Colleen right here in the lovely purple. Is that purple? Yes. Yeah. I love it. Well, you're both in purple. Look at you. Okay. Colleen with her hair up is she's at queenbeeing.com/Colleen. These are both amazing women. They were hand selected by me and for a reason. They're both very intuitive, empathic, and also certified in narcissistic abuse recovery. So make sure, if you want to try out a coaching session, here's an opportunity for you to do it for a 10-minute session for free, one per person. Go schedule it now. queenbeeing.com/Lise, Lise, or queenbeeing.com/Colleen, Colleen. Check it out. All right, ladies, any last words for our amazing Spanily today?
You just
to remind you.
Check. Oh, sorry.
And I don't remember who it was.
Dawn Elizabeth.
Oh, yes. Dawn.
That's what I was just going to say, Lisa. I was just going to say, we were going to chat.
All right.
Same brains.
Oh, my goodness. Oh. So Dawn Elizabeth is struggling with no contact with her ex, who is also a diabetic, and I think uses that against her. And she says he's diabetic because of all the prescribed drugs. Oh my goodness, Dawn. Again, and she says, who's the other guest besides Colleen? Oh, that's Lise. I guess you know that by now. She's my other co-coach at queenbeeing.com. Okay, but ladies, what about the diabetic ex-husband? How do you, I think we can just say Colleen's thing, but
I think honestly, they're just trying to guilt you. My ex-husband has Crohn's disease. He was a drug addict, didn't follow a diet, and would intravenously use drugs, and then say, I'm so sick, as a way to suck me in. And it was just a bunch of garbage. I mean, if you really cared about yourself, you take care of yourself, right? That's not our responsibility. That's theirs. So that's on them, not you.
That's right. That's right. Lise.
This is an ex-husband?
Yes.
Yeah, this is, one thing to remember is as adults, we're responsible for our own lives and our own health. And while we can feel sympathy and compassion from afar, we can keep it afar. We don't need to express it to them or get involved in their lives.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I want to add on to this, what Kat Cody says, her narcissist, she does know for sure they have cancer. The one we were talking about earlier. She said the cancer with this broken 69-year-old narcissist has been a crazy making relationship. She said, I don't want to be mean, but I don't want to be back with him just because he has cancer. And I would reiterate what we said before. Don't do it. Just because somebody gets cancer doesn't mean they suddenly become a good person. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Any other thoughts on that, ladies?
Well, and in fact, it can make them more angry and more hostile than ever. It can really use you like crazy once they are faced with their own mortality, because to them, they don't have that.
Yeah. 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 And Marilyn adds that she said, regarding falsifying health issues, my narcissist just told me a week ago, by the way, hi, Marilyn, that he thought he may have cancer issues right now. See, and that's exactly what I'm saying. They do that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? They really do fake cancer. It's infuriating. Okay. Oh, and Dawn says, yeah, they go in a hissy fit. Excuse me. Okay. Exposing a narcissist. Lisa Louder, you're welcome. She says, thanks for Angie, everything. It's appreciated. Robin Ross. Yeah, a rope in with health issues. Exactly. Okay. All right, guys. So we're good. Any final words, ladies? Did I already ask you that? I probably did.
Just thanks for coming out and hanging out with us on Saturday. It's been a pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. Yes.
Thank you. All right. And so don't forget, you go, hi, Maddie. Okay. You go to, and Maddie's our Mod Squad awesomeness up in here next to Jillian. Thank you for being here, my friend. We have Lise, queenbeeing.com/Lise, Lise, or Colleen, queenbeeing.com/Colleen. And you can click around on those pages and see their full bios and everything else from there. Okay. All right. That is it for us today. Ladies, thank you so much for coming with me on a Saturday. And everybody, if you are interested in, my daughter just came in the room. If you are interested in checking out those free 10-minute, what do we call them? Discovery sessions with Lisa and Colleen, go do it right now. All right. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. Oh, wait. Come over. Well, we're going to let Sophie pop her little head in here and say hello.
Hey. Hi, Sophie.
Hey, Sophie. Hi.
Hi. All right. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Okay, everybody. I'll see you soon. Have a lovely day. As always, thank you so much for being a part of my day and a part of my life. Thanks for letting me be a part of yours. And the other amazing Queen Being coaches who are here with us today, thank you for being here. And thanks for being awesome and helping me sort of keep our arms around this family that we love so dearly.
And thank you.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.